Hey everyone, ready for a deep dive into Apple Intelligence?
Oh, yeah.
We're going to be taking a look at this interview with Apple software chief Craig Federighi,
Right.
trying to figure out what Apple is really up to when it comes to AI.
And what it all means for you and me.
Exactly. What it all means for us as users. It's
Yeah.
interesting because
Yeah.
everybody's,
Everybody's talking ChatGPT.
buzzing about ChatGPT.
Yeah, and all these other tools that are like popping up left and right every day.
Yeah,
And Apple has been kind of quiet.
they have.
So they're definitely taking a different approach.
Totally. And Federighi actually said, let me find the exact quote here.
Yeah.
This is a many-year, honestly, even decades-long arc of this technology playing out.
Wow.
And so we're going to do it responsibly.
Interesting.
They're really emphasizing that slower, more deliberate rollout.
It's pretty different from what we're seeing from a lot of other tech companies.
Isn't it?
Like they're rushing to release these features as fast as they can.
Right. It's like a race to them.
Yeah, like who can get it out first?
But Apple's really saying, like, hey, we're prioritizing privacy and long-term thinking
Yeah, like they're playing the long game here.
over just, being first to market.
Definitely.
What do you think about that approach? Do you find yourself leaning one way or another?
I think for me,
Yeah.
I mean, as a user, I appreciate that they're thinking about privacy.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, I mean, I'm also curious to see how that plays out in terms of how quickly they can actually develop these features.
Right.
Because it seems like things are moving so quickly in the AI world.
Yeah, and it feels like they're really,
Mm.
being careful with our data.
Yeah, definitely.
Uh-huh.
So let's dive into that a bit more.
Okay.
Let's talk about their private cloud compute,
Okay.
which is like kind of at the core of their AI strategy.
Private cloud compute.
Yeah.
What is that?
You know, when I first heard that, I was like, what?
Yeah.
What does that even mean?
Yeah, sounds kind of top secret.
Yeah, like a little bit. So it took me a while to like wrap my head around it.
Yeah.
But it's a different way of thinking about AI.
Okay.
So like most AI models rely heavily on the cloud.
Right.
They're sending all your data to the cloud to do all this processing.
I
Think about it. Like when you ask a question to Siri or Alexa or whatever.
or any of the other voice assistants.
Right. Or you're using a feature that like analyzes your photos.
Uh-huh.
All that data is going to these massive data centers.
Yeah, and I mean, it can be a little unsettling, I think, for some people
I think so.
to think about where all that data is going.
Definitely,
I'm
like
like,
what's happening to it once it's out there.
Yeah.
And that's where Apple's private cloud compute comes in.
Okay.
They want to do as much of that processing as possible on your device,
Okay.
where the data is already more secure.
So basically bringing the power of the cloud
No, your device.
to your device.
Yes.
Okay.
But they recognize that like sometimes you need more power than your phone can handle for really complex tasks.
Yeah.
So then they use this private cloud compute system.
Okay, so is it still going to the cloud then?
Yes,
I'm
but it's
like-
encrypted.
Okay.
So it's scrambled up.
Think of it like putting a message in a locked box and sending it through the mail.
Okay,
Only the person with the key can open it and read the message.
got it. So even Apple doesn't have the key.
That's the idea. Yeah.
Wow.
They're trying to create a system where they can use your data without actually seeing your data.
That's fascinating.
Yeah, Federighi used the example of summarizing a long email
Oh, okay.
that might take more power than your phone can handle alone.
Right.
So it would get sent to the private cloud compute, but it would be encrypted the whole time.
Encrypted the whole time.
So Apple wouldn't actually be able to read the contents of the email.
Wow. I mean, that's pretty impressive.
Yeah,
Just from a privacy standpoint.
I think
But
so.
I mean, we've all probably just agree on those,
Along.
lengthy privacy policies
Yeah.
without really reading them
Definitely.
or knowing what we're signing up for.
It's true. But this approach from Apple seems to be a significant step, towards giving users more control over their data.
Yeah.
Now, whether they can actually deliver on that promise remains to be seen.
Right.
But it's definitely a fascinating concept.
It is. And speaking of fascinating concepts,
Yeah.
let's talk about Siri
Okay.
getting an intelligence upgrade.
Our old friend Siri
Yeah.
getting a makeover.
Right. I mean, remember those early days of Siri
Oh, yeah.
where it really felt like more of a novelty than a truly helpful assistant?
Like a gimmick almost.
A little bit,
Yeah.
right? And we've come a long way, from like,
Asking it to play that one song we can never remember the name of.
right, exactly.
Yeah.
But it seems like Siri is about to take another big leap forward.
It does.
Thanks to Apple Intelligence.
Yeah.
And what really stood out to me was Federighi's story about Siri recognizing someone he had met
Oh, wow.
briefly months ago.
That's pretty amazing.
Right.
It suggests that Siri is actually starting to develop a deeper contextual understanding.
Yeah, like it's actually remembering things,
Like, isn't it?
not just following commands.
Pretty remarkable.
Yeah.
And there's even talk about them integrating ChatGPT to handle certain tasks.
Wow.
Can you imagine?
Siri getting help from ChatGPT.
Right.
Yeah.
It really makes you wonder, like, what is the ceiling for Siri's intelligence?
Yeah.
Could we actually be on the path to having, like, a truly helpful
Like a real
AI assistant that can really understand our needs and, like, anticipates what we want?
Yeah, I mean, I think Federighi emphasized that it's still very much a work in progress,
Right.
but it's clear that Siri is evolving really rapidly.
Yeah.
I think the focus on continuous improvement is key.
Uh-huh.
We don't need an AI assistant that knows everything right out of the gate.
Right.
We need one that can like learn and adapt over time.
Yeah. And maybe a little less sassy while we're at it.
Oh, yeah. Sometimes those snarky responses are not helpful.
I mean, a little humor is fine, but, like,
Yeah.
helpfulness should always be the priority.
Agreed.
Yeah. Okay, so speaking of helpfulness,
Okay.
let's talk about notification summary.
Okay.
I mean,
This is a big one.
this is a big one. I am so excited about this.
Me too.
I mean, we've all been there,
Oh, yeah.
just drowning in notifications,
Feeling overwhelmed.
constantly buzzing, pinging.
It's too much.
It's too much.
It is.
And I think Apple Intelligence really has a chance to make a difference here.
Yeah, for sure.
Federighi was showing how the AI can group those similar notifications together
Right.
and just give you a concise summary.
Like a little digest.
Yeah, remember the example with the garage door?
Oh, yeah?
Instead of getting a separate notification every time the door opened or closed,
Right.
he just got one summary.
That said, like, the garage door is currently closed.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like finally acknowledging that we don't need to be bombarded.
With every single update,
Yeah.
it's about making the notifications more informative and not just reducing the number of them,
Total.
but actually making them more helpful.
Yeah. Like imagine
Yeah.
getting a notification that says you received 5 messages from your family group chat.
Okay.
The last message was about dinner plans.
Big span.
Instead of having to open each individual message,
Yeah.
you get that quick overview of what's going on.
That's actually helpful.
Right. Like that's useful information.
It is.
And they're even thinking about like
Oh, yeah.
the sensitive notifications that you might not want summarized.
Right.
Federico was joking about getting a breakup text
Uh-oh.
and how awkward it would be to have that
Bundled up.
bundled up with other messages.
Yeah.
But it shows that they are thinking about, those nuances, how we communicate, the importance of context. Like, they're not just blindly applying AI to every aspect of our digital lives.
Yeah.
They're really thinking about the human element.
Yeah, the emotional side of how we interact with our devices, which is, I think, a level of thoughtfulness that I really appreciate.
Yeah, I agree.
It's nice to see.
It's refreshing
Yeah?
to see a company doing that.
Yeah, for sure.
So
We'll
see where it all goes.
Yeah, we'll see what happens next.
It'll be interesting to follow along
Absolutely.
as these features roll out.
Definitely. And see how they actually work in practice.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
Yes, stay tuned.
stay tuned. Yeah, it is refreshing to see that.
Especially when it comes to photos.
Oh, yeah.
Remember when Federighi was talking about, like, removing objects from pictures? Like,
Yeah, he was talking to the journalist about a photo
Uh-huh.
and how you could potentially use AI to remove
Right.
like a stray microphone or like
Yeah.
a water bottle in the background.
And I was like, why stop there?
I know.
Like, let's add explosions.
Let's get crazy.
Make it look like I'm hanging out with celebrities.
Exact. But then they got into this whole discussion about how cautious Apple is being with photo manipulation.
They were really hesitant.
Yeah.
Even about removing small objects because
Yeah.
they want to maintain the reality of the photo.
Right.
Federighi said they're very focused on preserving the integrity of photography,
It's interesting.
which I think is really important these days.
It is.
When it's so hard to tell what's real and what's been digitally altered.
Yeah, we're already seeing the rise of deep fakes and
Yeah.
all sorts of AI-generated content that's incredibly convincing.
It's getting harder and harder to know what to believe.
It really is.
Yeah,
So I think Apple's approach here is noteworthy.
it is.
It's like they're not just giving us these powerful tools,
Right.
but they're also thinking about the ethical implications
The responsibility.
and actually taking steps to ensure that those tools are used responsibly.
They actually update the metadata of a photo
Oh, wow.
to indicate if it's been altered using AI.
Really?
Yeah, it's like a little digital watermark.
So it's like saying, hey, this photo has been enhanced.
Right.
But we're not trying to hide it.
Exactly. Transparency.
Okay.
It's about giving users the power,
Yeah.
but also acknowledging that those manipulations can have consequences.
Right. It's a delicate balance.
It is.
It really is. And it's something I think we all need to be more aware of.
Definitely.
As these technologies become more sophisticated.
As they get more powerful.
And more accessible.
Yeah. Anybody can do it now.
It makes you wonder, where do we draw the line?
Right.
Between helpful editing and altering reality?
That's the question.
It's a big question.
It is a big question.
It's something we should all be asking ourselves.
Sure.
As AI becomes more integrated into our lives.
So speaking of integration,
yeah,
there's one thing that's been on my mind.
Okay.
And probably on the minds of a lot of our listeners.
Uh-huh.
A lot of these Apple intelligence features that we were promised back in June, they're still MIA.
Missing in action.
What's the deal with that?
Right. Like, we're still waiting for a lot of those big promises to actually materialize.
Yeah, what's going on?
Federer did address the delay,
Okay.
saying that they want to get it right.
Okay.
And release features in stages rather than rushing out something that's not ready.
Right.
It's that classic Apple approach, you know.
Yeah.
Prioritize a polished user experience over being first to market.
But, I mean, there's also a marketing element at play here, too, right?
Totally.
Announcing these groundbreaking features months in advance generates a lot of hype.
Oh, for sure.
Even if those features aren't quite ready.
It's a good point. It definitely raises some questions about transparency.
Yeah.
And managing expectations.
Are they being upfront about the development timeline?
Right.
Or are they just using these future features to entice people to upgrade?
Like, is it a bait and switch?
Yeah. Like, is it a marketing ploy?
It's tricky.
It is a tricky situation.
And I think it speaks to this larger conversation that we need to be having about the role of AI in our lives and how much control we're willing to give up.
Like, how much are we willing to let these technologies make decisions for us?
I mean, think about it. We're talking about tools that can potentially analyze our behavior.
Predict our needs.
Influence our decisions.
It's exciting and a little scary at the same time.
It is a little unsettling.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it really is. Like, we're at this crossroads.
It is like a fork in the road.
You know, on one hand, there's so much potential for AI.
Yeah, to make things better.
To improve our lives, right?
Right.
Make things easier, more efficient.
More fun.
More enjoyable.
Definitely.
But then there's this, like, underlying anxiety about what we might be giving up.
Yeah, what are we sacrificing?
In the process.
For all this convenience and efficiency.
Right, and it's a valid concern.
It is.
Like, we can't just ignore that.
No, we got to be thoughtful about this.
Yeah, because, like we've seen with other technologies.
Totally.
The choices we make early on can have huge consequences.
Big time.
Like down the line.
You know, long-term effects.
Think about the internet.
Oh, yeah.
In the early days, it was all...
It was the Wild West.
It was like this utopian vision.
Information wants to be free.
Right.
Yeah.
And there's definitely been a lot of good that's come from it.
Absolutely.
But there's also been these, like, unforeseen consequences.
Unintended consequences.
Yeah.
Privacy violations, misinformation.
Echo chambers.
Yeah, all that stuff.
It's a cautionary tale for sure.
It is a reminder to be careful.
So we got to be thoughtful and deliberate.
With how we use these new technologies.
Absolutely.
And we need to be asking those tough questions now.
Yeah.
Before it's too late.
Before these AI systems are, like...
so ingrained.
So embedded in our lives.
Yeah.
That it's hard to change course.
Exactly. We need to be thinking about the ethics.
The societal impact.
The long-term consequences.
Not just the cool features.
Right, not just the shiny new toys.
And I think that brings us back to Apple's approach.
Which has been pretty cautious. You know, they're really focusing on privacy.
They are.
And they're taking their time rolling these features out.
And they've definitely gotten some criticism from
it. Yeah. Some people are saying they're moving too slowly.
That they're falling behind.
That they're going to miss out on all the opportunities.
There are definitely valid arguments on both sides.
For sure.
But I think the important thing is that they're starting a conversation.
Yeah, they're making us think about these things.
Raising awareness.
Absolutely.
And showing that there is another way to approach AI.
A more thoughtful way.
A more human-centered way.
Yeah, a way that puts people first.
It's about finding that balance, right?
Yeah.
Between the power of AI and our values.
Between innovation and responsibility.
And that balance is going to look different for everyone.
Of course there's no one right answer.
It's a conversation we all need to be a part of.
It is a collective responsibility.
Because the future of AI is not going to be decided by, you know...
a few tech companies.
A few people in Silicon Valley.
Right, it's going to be shaped by all of us.
So as we wrap up this deep dive into Apple Intelligence...
yeah.
We want to leave you with a challenge.
A call to action.
As you're navigating this evolving landscape of AI,
be informed.
Do an informed consumer.
Ask questions.
Don't be afraid to push back.
Demand transparency.
And most importantly, think critically about how you want AI to be integrated into your life.
What compromises are you willing to make?
Because this is just the beginning.
Yeah, we're just getting started.
The AI revolution is still unfolding.
Buckle up.
But by staying engaged, staying informed, and staying true to our values, I think we can help steer this technology in a direction that benefits everyone.
Absolutely.
So keep exploring, keep learning.
Keep diving deep.
Thanks for joining us on this journey.
We'll see you next time.